today with chapter 8. Okay, welcome to Bhagavad Gita classes of level 2, the Bhakti Shastri courses. In this we have done the first part of the Bhagavad Gita, which are the 6 chapter comprising of all the Karma Yoga part. And from there we started the Bhakti Yoga part from chapter 7, in which we got some knowledge about the absolute, the chapter 7. And now we are going on to the chapter of attaining the supreme, how to attain the absolute, right? How to attain the supreme. First part was how, what is the knowledge of the absolute, the knowledge of the absolute, and who approaches them, who don't approaches them. Because that the Karma Yoga part, we finished with the who is the best yogi, right? We did all the karma nishkam karma yogi part, and then who among them are the best. From the Dhyan Yoga part, we yogi nam api sarvesham madhvatadantaratma, right? The yogi who is the best of all, who is basically worshipping him, with full faith and devotion, he who keeps Krishna is in heart, and he abides by the Krishna's words. That is the best yogi. That was the opinion of Krishna. Now who is the absolute? Because he is concentrating on someone supreme, right? So supreme, the knowledge of the supreme was necessary now. That's why the Krishna gave the knowledge of the supreme to Arjuna in the 7th chapter. Now how to attain? In the last chapter we were at the 30th shloka of 7th chapter, that how, how at the time of death one remembers, right? So what is the significance of remembering at the death? We'll learn in this chapter. So Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. We pay our humble obeisance to Shri Shri Radha Govinda. Hare Krishna. So in the 7th chapter, we know we discussed about the knowledge of the absolute, right? From 1 to 3rd, right? How to know Krishna? It is by hearing, right? Because the first thing, how did we come to the bhakti? If you think, then by Shravanam itself, right? By the starting of our bhakti starts from the Shravanam. Someone has told you, or you have thought about it from some Google, or by something, some energy have told you, right? Just by hearing, you have started the bhakti process, and yes, then the kirtanam start, right? So firstly is the hearing. So here also Krishna basically describes Arjuna about the absolute, right? So he explains that he is the source of all the material and spiritual energies, right? So he yeah, in the same thing in the 10th chapter also he says Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate, right? From him everything emanates. He is, everything pervades from him. And from 13 to 14, he tells about the 3 modes, right? Who are controlled by Krishna. Devi Hisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. He tells that there is this divine, the divine energy of Maya, right? Who is basically consisting of, who is consisting of the, this divine energy, Maya. He tells about the Mama Maya Durataya, his own Maya, right? This divine energy of mind, right? And so Devi Isha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya, right? And from 15 to 19, he tells about the empires, right? Who are the ones, Dushkitanas, who basically 16th and 15th and 16th. The 15th part, he tells that who are the four persons who do not, who never surrender to Krishna, who do not goes to Krishna, are the Mudhas and the Radhamas, the Maya Partha Gyanas, and the Ashram Bhavitrams, right? So the demons, right? The Mudas, the asses, the donkeys, like people, the Mudas don't go to him. Then the Radhamas, right? Lowest among the mankind doesn't go to him. And Maya Partha Gyana, the knowledge stolen by the illusions, right? Some philosophers, scientists, right? Who are taken away by the illusion that something else is God, right? And the demons who are atheists or who are envious, right? So 4 kinds of impious people doesn't goes to Krishna, and the pious people, Sukritana, are the Artharthi, Jignasu, and Gyani, right? So among them, the Gyani was the best because he has no business, right, to anything. He is nothing asking for. Neither he is in distress. Even if he is in distress, he is not asking. He is not for asking for the wealth. He is not inquisitive. He is just there to serve the Lord. So he is the best among that. The Krishna has that. Krishna says that those are the four pious people, right? And from 20 to 25 we learned about that, who are who are less intelligent. Basically they goes to the surrenders to the demigods, right, for some personal benefits, right, not for the bhakti. One is worshipping demigods, not an issue, but if he are asking for bhakti, then it is good. But if he is not asking for bhakti, then it is all material activities, right? So those who are mayavadis, they also go either want to the in the Brahma Jyoti infulgence also. That is also less intelligence, right? And 26 to 30, we learned about the bewilderment of living entity and his freedom to knowledge of Krishna. Of one who knows the knowledge of Krishna, right? What happens? He will get out of this world, right? At the end of at the end of the life and death comes, right? If one remembers Krishna, then one can go out of this world and live in the spiritual world. Right? So now we will talk about the now Krishna Arjuna will have some questions, right? Arjuna will have ask some questions. There are 8 questions. Well, with Arjuna basically asked to Krishna, right? He has defined some terms. So he will ask them from 8.5 to 88. We will learn about the what happens if one remembers at the time of great Krishna. How to remember Krishna? They're practicing remembering, right? Krishna in 8.9 to 13. And then what is pure devotion service, right? Pure devotion service, what it is, how to do devotion service, what is pure devotion service. And 70.22, the comparing of material spiritual words, glories of supreme abode, right? Learn about the what is the difference between the material and spiritual worlds. What are the benefits of going to spiritual worlds? Yes, we want to know it, right? Because if one doesn't know that, okay, out of this material world there is spiritual world which is 75%. What is the benefit of going there, right? The glories of the supreme abode, we will learn about that. And 20 to 28, we learn about the supremacy of devotion in attaining the supreme, right? How devotion is always supreme, right? So first section, Krishna's answers to Arjuna's question, right? अर्जुनवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम आदिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् आदिदैवं किमुच्यते. हरे कृष्ण ट्रांसलेशन माताजी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी.
Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Arjuna will ask now 8 questions total. Here he is asking that what is Brahman, right? Oh Supreme Person, what is Brahman? You all know that what is Brahman. What is the self? You all know what is the Jiva. What are fruitive activities? You all know the fruitive activities. What are the karma kanda, right? What are the karmic activities? What is the material manifestation? You all know the material prakriti. And what are the demigods? That also you know, right? So he is asking for us only. He knew before us, did he knew it before the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, because he was a very intelligent person. He knew all the Shastra, he knew all the Vedas, but he is asking for us, right? We knew only after reading Bhagavad Gita, but before that we didn't know. But he knew because he has done all the thing. But he is asking for us only, right? Very ask question. First question is Brahman. Second is fruitive activities. Second is self. Second and third is fruitive activities. Fourth is material manifestations, and fifth here is demigods. Now further. आदियज्ञ कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मनभिः. हरे कृष्ण. हरे कृष्ण सुधेष्ण प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna
हरे कृष्ण
Prabhuji.
माता जी. यस हरे कृष्ण माता जी. Yes, Hare Krishna Matari, would like to translate, read the translation of 8.2? Hare Krishna. Okay, I will read. 8.2. How does this Lord of Sacrifice live in the body, and in which part does he live? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Right. So, sixth question is, how does how does this Lord of Sacrifice? Where does Adi Yagna? Adi Yagna is the Lord of Sacrifice. Where does he live, and in which part does he? Katham Kotra. Right. Dehis mean Madhusudana. He is addressing Krishna as Madhusudana because he kills the Madhu demon, and he wants us to kill his doubts because this doubts has come inside him, and he wants to kill just like he kills the Madhu demon, right? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Right, we are all trying to get engaged in devotional service. How can we remember at the time of death? This is a logical question, right? If we are into the bhakti yoga and doing the bhakti, if we don't know how to reach spiritual world, then what is the use of doing bhakti yoga, right? So bhakti yoga tells that at the time of that one needs to remember Krishna. Okay, now how do you remember you, right? First we have learned about the knowledge of the supreme seventh chapter, but now we want to know that how to attain you finally, right? What is the procedure? Please tell us the procedure. So here the procedure is being told by the Krishna, right? So in the previous chapter, right, we learned about this these some of the right, some of the answer to this. Jara marana mokshaya mamashitra jitanti ye te brahma tad vidu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakilam. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotion service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities, right? They know about the they are actually Brahman. Brahman is Brahman is who are totally endeavoring for the liberation, right? They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendent. So one who knows about the transcendental activities, he is the Brahman, right? Adibhuta, ne? Adibhuta. Then Adibhuta, Adidevam, right? We learned that what kinds of threefold miseries are there. Adibhuta, Adidevam, right? Adi Yagna. Those in full consciousness of me who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation, Adibhuta. Adideva, the demigods, and of all methods of sacrifice, Yagna. Right? So Adi Yagna, who is Lord of the sacrifice, Vishnu is the Lord. Can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality Godhead, even at the time of death. So this with this we ended, right? So Brahman, what is Brahman? The Brahman is the Jiva, right? The Brahman is the Jiva. We know that no Brahman is the Jiva, indestructible living entity, right? The soul, the spirit, right? Adhyatma, the controller of the body, right? Controller of the body, nature of the Jiva, self. Now, who is the self? The Adhyatma, the controller of the body, right? The control. The spirit is the indestructible, eternal one. The Jiva is the Brahman, right? Adhyatma is the controller of the body, the self. What is karma? Actions leading to material body. Whatever material body we are currently now having, it is because of some work or some fruitive activities, right? Whatever fruitive activities that we have gained, or it was there, positive and negative both, bias and impious both, it has lead to this like body. So that is karma, right? Karma can be thought as actions leading to material body, right? Adibhuta, right? Adibhuta is material nature, the Prakriti, the material manifestation we see around us, that is the material nature, Adibhuta. Adideva, supreme demigod, universal form, Vishwarupa, universal form which includes all demigods, right? The Virat Rupa, the Vishwarupa, which was shown by Krishna to Arjuna, is the Adideva. Adideva means universal form. It is a material manifestation, right? It is a material kind of it is not it's not eternal because it is temporary. That's why we are calling it material. It is also transcendental, but it is temporary, right? So Adi Deva, universal form which includes all demigods. All demigods are in the Adi Deva, supreme demigod, right? What is Adi Yagna? Paramatma, super soul residing in us, right? Paramatma, Shri Dakshay Vishnu, the enjoyer of the sacrifice. Everything is being sacrificed to the Vishnu, right? So Adi Yagna, he is the Adi Yagna. Where does Adi Yagna reside? In the heart of all. So in our heart, both the soul and the Paramatma, the Adi Yagna resides, right? So how to remember Krishna at the time of death? Practice remembrance throughout life, right? So only way to remember at the time of death is practice remembrance throughout the life, right? So if because if we don't do that, then we cannot remember him on a single day, on a single night. We cannot remember it. If we have practiced him, because if we try to cheat the Krishna, that okay, now I know that okay, this is the way to get out of this world. Now I will enjoy my whole life, and at the time of death, I will go from here. So Krishna is the biggest cheater than us, right? He is the biggest cheater, so he will cheat accordingly, right? So we cannot cheat him, right? It's not logical also, right? He is the supreme. He knows from the heart what are you thinking. He will plan before we think, right? So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmam Uchyate Bhutabhavadbho Karo Visarga Karma Samnitaha. Hare Krishna, yes, Mataji. Translation,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This the Supreme Lord said the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman and his eternal nature is called self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities.
Hare Krishna. So now here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead basically answers the Bhagavan. He answers the indestructible, right? We learned that Brahman is indestructible, transcendental living entity, right? That is soul, the spirit, right? And his eternal nature is called the self, right? His nature covered by the right, covered by the mind, soul, mind and senses, right? As per the Vedas, the self is basically, as a Brahman basically is described as consisting of the senses, the soul, the mind, and intelligence, right? Everything that is there is it is all given in the Brahman itself. As per the Vedas, as per the Vedic literature, it is given that the Brahman consists of all, right? So here also is saying there's eternal nature. The nature consists of mind and senses, right? So mind, soul, and senses are the eternal nature. Whatever the eternal nature, it consists the self, right? Everything is belong to self. So action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma, right? With this, someone is having the self, it is having some desires. Due to that, it is either acting in tamo guna, rajoguna, satoguna. Any one of this guna, one is acting, then he is accumulating some karma. Due to that karma, some material body will be, it will be given to him in order to enjoy those fruitive activities or have the miseries or regarding those fruitive activities. That whatever karma phala is there, one has to get that, and again and again come to this earth, right? So pious activities are there. One goes to the heavenly planets, progress to the heavenly planets, then come back to this world. One is impious works, one is done, goes to the lower planets, and again come back to this earth, right, after the miseries and all. So various activities, various form is there. And how the soul basically is carving here. Right side, right side is uh, Dehanosmin yatha de kaumaram yomanam jara. We learned that Dehanosmin, the like the the body changes from the soul, the body changes clothes. Similarly, Dehanosmin yatha de kaumaram yomanam jara. From boyhood to youth to old age, right? From kaumaram yomanam jara. Tatha deyantara prapti. Similarly, the soul changes its body from youth to old age, from boyhood to youth to old age, right? And Kaumaram Yomanam Jana. Tata Deyantara Prapte Dhirastatram Mudhyate. But a person who is who is dhiras, who has who has patience, who has equipoise, does not is not bewildered by such a change, right? So this Krishna tells second chapter, right? So similarly the body is changing, right? Similar, a person is changing clothes. Similarly, the body is also changing the bodies, right? And the soul is also changing the body from from various one part of soul to the another soul. So we are getting bodies just because of karmic reactions, right? Nothing more than that. So one who is one who is into all these, so what one does, one who is into the worshipping the Lord, then he goes to the Lord, right? Because his consciousness throughout his life has been to the going to the Lord, right? Because he needs the spiritual world, because he was serving the Lord, so he got spiritual consciousness, right? His consciousness became transcendental, right? Always serving the Lord, always seeing the glories of the, always seeing the pictures of the Lord, always serving him, always doing some devotional service, right? Always linking everything to the in house to the Lord. Then what happens? He is transferred to the spiritual world, with spiritual body, right? But if one is not following the regulative principles, right? Too much eating, meat eating, and then doing intoxication, doing gambling, doing illicit sex, then what will happen? He is eating too much of non-veg, then he will become a pig, or too much eating habit, right? So consciousness will become of too much eating. A pig he will become. The pig has no control over his senses, and he will eat whatever. So even if for him, even the all the tamasic, all the tamasic food is also delicious for him, right? So that is, he has no control over it. He does not know that it is not a good food, right? For a human it is a very tamasic foods, right? And a person who is doing, who is involved in the illicit sex, then he will go to become a pigeon or something, a bird, right? Like that he will become someone, they don't have courage, so animal tendency will be there. Too much gambling, not having the truth. So it's like that, various human mankind, or anything, whatever consciousness one is developing, he will get there. So it is, it is of no benefit for us to go in a lower, but one who has get the very rare form of human, then one needs to be advanced, and one needs to be advanced, and one needs to go to the science of, Krishna consciousness. He need to advance to the spiritual world, so that he becomes happy, right? Adibhutam, right? So 814 Adibhutam Sharobhava Purushashchadi Daivatam Adi Yagnoham Evatra Dehe Deha Bratambara. Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of Supreme Lord, right? The universe is the cosmic form of Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as the Super Soul. Everything, is super dwelling in the heart of every embodied being, right? Here in the purport, but Srila Prabhupada tells, like caterpillar is always, in the remembrance, always in remembrance of the butterfly, so he becomes a butterfly, right? When he is in the cocoon, he is basically, trying from the caterpillar, he is trying to become the butterfly. He is remembering in the cocoon to become a butterfly. So become. So if we in this body embodied soul, and as an embodied soul, we try to remember Krishna, then definitely we will get a spiritual body, right? Similar meditation like the caterpillar, right? So physical nature is to be endlessly mutable, right? The unchanging, right? Unchanging, right? The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, right? The universe, it is the cosmic form where he is residing. He is residing as represented Super Soul, the Paramatma. He is the Paramatma, right? Adi Yagna, dwelling in the heart of every embodied divinity. So where he lives, he tells in there, Dehe Deha Bratambara. He resides in the heart. Right? So we come to the second section. Remember Krishna at the time of death. What happens at remember at the time of death? Whatever one attains, whatever one remembers at the time of death, right? We discussed it previously also, that one who remembers whatever he remembers, whatever consciousness he has developed throughout his life, he will become that. Krishna recommends Arjuna to undeviatingly meditate on him, dedicate his activities to him, and thus attain. Right. This is the instructions, right? We needed the instruction from Bhagavad Gita. So here the instructions he is giving them. Antakali cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshayah. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And, and and whoever at the time of death quits his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, basically, he is saying that how to remember him. So firstly, he tells that what happens if one remembers him, right? So Antakali Chamavya, and whoever at the time of death, right, at the time of death remembers, quits his body, Smaran Muktva Kalevram. Remember me alone, Muktva Kalevram, right? Only he alone, not anyone else. One is remembering the Ganesha, he will go to the Yanti Deva Vrata Devan, right? He will go to the demigods, right? One is remembering some other demigod, he will go there, right? So if he remembers Krishna, then only he will go there, right? So he quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature, right? Similar to the example of caterpillar, his nature of the caterpillar was not of the butterfly, but in the cocoon, he just to demonstrate the nature, just to demonstrate that Antakalicha the caterpillar has a design that he becomes the butterfly. Similarly, if we meditate on Krishna, then one attains the nature of Krishna as the eternal, as the Satchidanand, right? And we reside in the Vaikuntha planets or the Goloka Vrindavan, right? If our devotion service is, no desire, not a single minute desire is there, so we will go to the Goloka Vrindavan. If some desires are there, then what will happen? We go to the Vaikunthas. But for the impersonalists, they will end up in the Brahma Jyoti, right? So it is not so good, right? One needs to go at least, no, he will go to the Vaikuntha planets, attain the same Rupa as the Vishnu form. He will reside there. He will have no anxiety. Vaikuntha, no anxieties, no miseries will be there, right? So at once attains. So Bhishma here, Bhishma Pitama is here, is on the, on the arrow bed. He's dying, and he's remember Krishna. He's in front of the Krishna, and he's remember Krishna also, right? Right. So what will happen if, what do you think that, If we keep on chanting, but at the time of death, if we don't remember, then what will happen? Hare Krishna. If we practice that, but somehow we are not able to recall him, then we will go to the Vaikuntha or no? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji.
No, okay. Hare Krishna. Purva Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you please repeat the question?
Yes, Madhuri. I'm just asking that if we keep on practicing for, whatever age you are, for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 40 years, you keep on remembering, and then, at the end of the life, you couldn't remember due to some disease or something like that. Because you are too much old, couldn't remember at the time of death. What will
Maybe yes, Krishna is merciful, so maybe yes.
Hari bol, Matri, Hari bol. So Krishna will help. Krishna will help at the end, right? At the Bhishma Pitama at the time, the Krishna was present there, so that Bhishma at least see him and remembers, right? If he even if he wants to, but he is a Mahajana, although, but still, Krishna helps. So Krishna is not so cheap. Krishna is not so. He is very merciful, right? If you have practiced throughout his life sincerely, at the time of death, there was this king Kulakshetra. He said the same thing, right? In his prayer he addressed to the Krishna. He said, "Oh Lord, please take my life right now, because I am young now and I am youth, and I want to go right now, because I can remember you right now, but at the time of death I will be old, like my memory will not be so good and I couldn't be able to remember you." So Krishna replies that at the end, he will help. Right? He helps at the time of death. If for that there is no doubt. So it is necessary to remember, so we need to practice like that, right? No. हाँ बेटा. Right, so sorry. So Antakalic moment. So so at the time of death, right, it is very necessary that one remembers at the time of death, right, that remembers Krishna, so that one goes to the spiritual planets, and he helps, right? He helps at the time of death also. If as one has sincerely, sincerely devoted his life, sincerely chanted his, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the time of death, he will be remembered, right? Not to worry, he is merciful also. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Yamalayam Shesha Stavaram Icchanti Kim Ashcharyam Athaparam. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, right? But a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. Right? This is the most wonderful thing in this world. Why this picture is shown? What happens in the forest. One time, Yudhishthira Maharaj was there, and they went. His brothers went to the lake and drank some water, and Yamraj came, right? And Dharmraj, he is the Dharmraj, Dharmraj, Yamraj, Ansh of the Yamraj himself, the Yudhishthira Maharaj, and he follows the Dharma. The whole, other his four brothers, were almost at the time of death, and he was asked that what is the most wonderful thing, in this world. So he told that, hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, right? At every moment, one is dying, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless, right? It's like, one is basically into the slaughterhouse, like a goat is into basically slaughterhouse. He knows, the goat knows that, his death wish is certain, right? He's seeing that everyone is being slaughtered, right? But still he is, busy eating the grasses. So one, we are also like that. We are busy eating the fruiting, we are busy doing the fruitive activities, but the death is certain, everyone know. But he thinks, but one thinks, the death is, certain, but we think that it is deathless, that this body is deathless, death will not come and does not prepare for death. So this body is just for preparing for death. It is, it is certain, right? It is certain, and one has to die. So it is for that preparation, not, the example of the paperweight is given, that there is a paper, gold paperweight, right? So a gold block is there. Basically, the block is, for advancing, but one is using as a paperweight, then he is a fool number one, right? He is not using that gold, the gold block, for something good. Rather, he is using it as a paperweight. So whatever we are here and we become the best swimmer in the ocean, it is not a good thing. We need to come out of it, right? So one needs to prepare for the day. That is the exam. Rest all is just a preparation, right? So this is the most wonderful thing in this world. Why the miseries come? So that at the time of that is the, highest kind of misery, right? The death is the highest kind of misery. So since the death has to come, before that various lots of miseries come into your life, right? In order to prepare you, just to prepare you at the time of death, what will you? Because if you are not equipped at the miseries that are being approached in this life with very minute things, some envy is there, some greed is there, some lust is there, whatever desire is there, that is just creating your, miseries are created by that. Basically the world, the 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 world is preparing you for the death, right? If miseries come, if one is equipoised, then then you will be becoming equipoised more and more for the death, right? So that is the just a preparation. One has to become situated in the self, remember Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, doing devotional service, always enjoying the service of the Krishna. Then one will be remembering at the time of death him, right? So that is the preparation. That is the preparation, that the miseries are just for the preparation. So one should not be bewildered, right? 8.6 यम यम वापि स्मरण भावम त्याजते अन्ते कलेवरम तम तम एव इति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः. हरे कृष्ण. ट्रांसलेशन. हरे कृष्ण. Okay, I will read them. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail, right? Whatever state of being, right? One is remembering eating too much, right? One is remembering his wife and all, and he will become a woman and all. One is remembering his husband, he will become his husband, and whatever his male body, and he is remembering the house, he will enter into the house in the form of a servant or someone else, right? And whatever the situation is, whatever the body one needs to get as per the karmic reaction. So whatever state of being, if one has a state of being as a materialistic, he will come to the material body. world. If one has a state of being as a spiritualistic, then he will become a spiritual being, right? So whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail, right? Simple. It is given by the Bharat Maharaj also. Bharat Maharaj left everything at the youth, youth time, and he was a great king. He left for the self-realization alone in a solitude in a forest, and at the when he got attached to the deer, what happened? He attained the life of a deer. He attained take his next birth again as a deer. So even a transcendentalist who is trying to achieve, but at the time of death, he's because he could have remembered, he was fine with his memory, but at the time he was specially remembering the deer. So what happened? He basically got the again got the body of the deer. So this is the state. So it is necessary, right? It is necessary that if we can remember, then we need to remember, right? We need to remember. We need to think a bit, if because he was attached. Because whatever we are remembering, Srila Prabhupada tells that whatever dreams you are getting in your in your sleeping time, that will only come at your time of death. So what kind of dreams are we getting? Are we getting Lord's dream, or are we getting the materialistic dream, right? So that by that you can judge, right, what is happening in our life. So one need not to be attached to the materialistic dream. That's it, right? So here the story of the story of the Bharat Maharaj, right? That there was this the doe was there. The doe he bought, he was but the doe mother deer was there, and from that the doe was basically brought from that, because the mother deer carried away with by the water. He brought it her home. Then he got attached. When he grew old, then also he got attached with the deer. Ultimately, he was given the life of a deer. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मर युध्य च मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्मामि वश्यसि संशयः. Hare Krishna. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here Krishna is not telling to stop all your activity and come and leave everything right now and come to go to the just go to the temple and start serving. No, he's not saying, right? Whatever you are doing, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. Always think of me in which form? In form of Krishna. Mam anusmera. Mam. He is saying my, right? He is saying me. Me means Krishna. Krishna is there, so we need to remember Krishna, right? Two, three bended form, right? Holding his flute, right? We need to remember Krishna in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out a prescribed duty of fighting. So whatever duties we have got as a son, as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as a daughter, right? Whatever duty, as a teacher, right? Whatever, and as a worker, whatever duty we have, just carry out that. Just remembering him, right? All time remembering all prescribed duty, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty. So think of him, think of Krishna while fighting, right? He is saying, "Ma Anushmara Yudhya." So you fight also, but you remember me also, right? Maya arpita mano buddhi, right? With your activities dedicated to me, all your activities dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, right? You will be always thinking of me, right? Then you will attain me without doubt, right? अभ्यास योग युक्तेन चेतसानन्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयामि. हरे कृष्ण. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undivided from the path, he, O Partha, Arjuna, he is sure to reach me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here again he is saying, Krishna is saying that he who meditates on the Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna, his mind constantly engaged in remembering what is happening, and if you do this, then this happens, right? His mind is constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, O Arjuna, he is sure to reach me. What will happen? He will reach me, right? What is the benefit of doing Mam Anushmara Yudhyacha? He want to reach me, right? So in the previous chapter we learned about the absolute. So next chapter he answered the question how to reach him, right? So who is the absolute? So if you know the absolute, the supreme absolute, then you want to go to the absolute. So attaining the supreme is this chapter, and we are now here, listening to Krishna, that how to reach him, right? Similar to the example of Ajamila. Ajamila previously, he was pious, but due to just some lusty desires, he went, in the wrong side. His fall down was there. But at the time of death, he called his son Narayana, out of just, just not thinking of Krishna, but thinking of just, just calling Narayana name. The name is very powerful, right? Just, just there, he called Narayana. He got the chance. The Vishnu Duta came and, refrained all the, Yam Dutas to go from there and not take his body. And he got next chance to go to the Vaikuntha Loka, to go to the Golok Vrindavan. And he again involved himself, fully into the devotional service, and finally he attained the Vaikuntha planet in the Vishnu the came, he then they took away. So this is the process, right? This is the process. Constantly engaged in remembering, always, full day remember him, and undivided from path. He is devoted, and he's one is undivided, and basically he reaches him, right? So attaining the supreme, Lord Krishna stresses on importance of remembering him by practice, right? Repetition of importance of remembering Krishna, right? What is the importance of remembering Krishna? Refutes inactivity, right? It refutes inactivity, right? It doesn't say inaction is good. The Krishna doesn't say that, inaction in the form that, stopping any kind of activity, right? Inaction is that inaction which is, which basically detaches you from the fruits of the activities. That is the akarma, that is the akarma, right? One needs to be, clear in that inaction or karma is basically not involved, not having any attachment to the fruits of the results, right? So inaction has to be done. This refutes the need to give up the prescribed duty to remember Krishna, right? One needs to do the duty, right? Krishna, never Srila Prabhupada tells that, stop your activity. Never. This is a preaching movement. ISKCON is a preaching, ISKCON is a preaching movement. Krishna conscious movement is a preaching movement. Srila Prabhupada used to tell in this temple that only one devotee should be waiting in the temple. Rest all should go for preaching activity, right? Only one devotee may be there, right? Only one devotee is to be in the day for deity serving. Rest all should be outside for the preaching activity, right? So it is not an, inactive, inactive, because soul is always active. Soul is always active, right? So spiritual beings are always active, always some activity with the Krishna they will be doing in the Krishna Loka, right? So how to think of Krishna in practical life? So it's constant thinking of Supreme Lord in any of his features possible by chanting Hare Krishna, right? Whatever, whatever one can think of, his flute, his Sham Sundar Roop, that he's listening to us, like that you can think, you are pleasing for giving some devotion service that you can do during chanting, right? So these are just here, right? Just here Hare Krishna Mahamantra and think like this, right? Not anything more than that. Not to, not to force also the mind to think anything. If nothing, that something else is coming, rather to stop it and just to concentrate on just the mantra, right? Therefore, in the beginning, just we need to do just that. So practice is purifying, and at the end of the life, one transfers to kingdom of God, right? So one needs to purify by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One is getting purified. We are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? It is purifying us. It is purifying us. Every mantra, the Hare, the Krishna, the Ram, everything is purifying. The 16 names of the Lord is basically for purifying us, right? So most effective way to remember Krishna, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? Benefits of chanting is revival of memory of Krishna. If we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then this only will come into our memory, right? Right? This only will come. Ear, tongue, and mind are engaged in Krishna's service, right? By the tongue, we are pronouncing. By the ear, we are listening. By the mind is engaged. We should chant loudly. We should not, chant in our head, inside in the mind. No, rather chant it loudly so that you have some focus on it. So attain Supreme Lord and His planet, right? These are the benefits. Analogy: caterpillar and butterfly. One meditates, caterpillar meditates on the butterfly. It becomes a butterfly, right? So the importance of Purusha, Lord is the real enjoyer. Bhoktaram Yagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, right? Confirms Lord as the person 8.9 recommended meditation Lord's form is a person, right? Antakali chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Ya prayati samadbhavan naiti yastis matra samshaya. So Antakali chamameva, right? At the time of death, he should be remembered. Recommends meditating on Lord's form as a person. He should be remembered as a person, right? He should be remembered as a person, not as some void or something as a Brahma Jyoti. No. So he is the real enjoyer, right? So we need to think that he is the real enjoyer. Bhoktaram. So remembering Krishna, practice remembrance through meditation, right? So by meditating Krishna and his qualities, or by practicing yoga, his Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavid Grahya Mandriya, because Krishna's forms, pastimes, leela, activities, are all on the absolute level, right? Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavid Grahya Mandriya, and the senses cannot appreciate it because it is not on absolute, right? So by meditating on Krishna and his qualities, or by practicing Yoga Mishra Bhakti, mixture of Bhakti and Yoga, one can think of Supreme Personality of Godhead when quitting the body and reach the spiritual planets. Yoga Mishra Bhakti is, doing the sadhana bhakti also, our sadhana regulating principles, and doing sadhana bhakti in morning programs, and then, the artis and evening programs, and attending them, and practicing regulative principles, practicing as per the, Guru's orders, and doing chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? Mixture of yoga and bhakti also. One can think of Supreme Personal Godhead when quitting the body and reach the spiritual planets, right? So 8.9. Kavim Puranam Anushashitaram Anoriniyam Sham Anushmaredya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varanam Tamasha Prasad. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mantra.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, who is Supreme Person? Now, the qualities of the Supreme is given here, right? What are the qualities? Kavim, right? Kavim, one who knows everything, right? Puranam, oldest. He is the oldest. Anushashitaram, who is the controller. Anoriniyam Sam Anushmared, who is the Anor. Anor means who is the smaller than the smallest. Aniyam Sham, who is the maintainer of anything, everything. Anushmared, who's beyond the material conception. We cannot think about it beyond the material conception, right? Sarvasi, he is present everywhere, right? He is present everywhere. Uh, Achintya Rupam, he is inconceivable. He is inconceivable, and he is always a person, right? He has a Roop, Achintya Rupam. Himself, he is saying he has a Roop, Achintya, inconceivable Rupam, and he is always a person. Aditya Varnam. Aditya means sun god, right? So luminous like the sun, Varnam, Tamsha Parastad, the sun, and being transcendental, right? He is luminous like the sun, the Brahma Jyoti is because of his, effulgence, right? And is beyond the material nature, right? So like this, one should meditate upon the Supreme Person. So one can think, one can see the beautiful form of Krishna is on the right side, right? He is a beautiful form. You should think, you should remember this picture, you should remember his lotus feet, you should remember this form, and then just try to meditate on this form. The devotees basically see the Lord's form, then the deity's form, the Archa Vigraha, it is equivalent to the Lord, right? One should meditate upon the Shishya, the Govinda, and whichever temple you have, Shishya, the Krishna in your town, go there, meditate upon the lotus feet of Shishya, the Krishna, and try to remember him. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to see the pictures of the Shishya, the Krishna, and Sham Sundarup, and then what used to happen, he used to faint, after some time. So this is the, one should meditate like this, right? Always seeing the Lord from his feet, and from the feet to the thighs and to the stomach, and from there to his neck, and to his head and the hair, hairs, and his hands, his flutes, and everything. One should remember that how beautiful he is, how old he is, how everyone knows him. He is all attractive. He is the oldest. He is the controller. He is the maintainer. Right? He is present in every item. Right? He is the smaller than the smallest. Right? he is beyond material conception, he is unconceivable, right? He is a person, he is a person, we can see him, we can have loving exchange with him, we can have devotional service exchange with him, right? We can serve him, right? He is luminous like that, he is always effulgent, right? Like this one needs to remember, then and the your Hare Krishna Mahamad, your chanting will be very beautiful. So chanting will be very concentrating and very beautiful, right? You will be remembering, right? So this is the shloka. You can also remember the Kavim Puranam Anushashitam Anoraniyam Sham Anushmare, that Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam, right? So this all words you can remember, right? So that your chant, you can progress in chanting a bit much more powerfully. So Kavim, right? He is knower of the everything, past, present, and future, right? He knows everything. What has happened in the past, what is happening in the present, right? What will happen in the future. He is Puranam, he is all born out of him. He is the oldest, right? Anushashitanam. He is the controller, Anoraniyamsham. He is the smaller than the smallest, right? He is present in every atom. He is Dhataram. He is the maintainer, right? He is beyond all material conception, inconceivable, right? All big planets are floating by his energy, right? He has Rupam. Has some form, always a person. He is Achintya. He is inconceivable, right? He is Aditya Varnam, right? Luminous like the sun. And he is Tamshabarashat, that is transcendental beyond the material nature, right? It is transcendental. So these 10 different ways of meditating on Lord Krishna, you can remember, right? If how to think of Krishna, refute the absolute truth is impersonal, right? This shloka is itself says, he is luminous like the Rupam. Here itself, this shloka says Rupam. He has a Rupam. So the one who says that he is impersonal, so it is refuted. So recommends meditation on the personal form of the Lord, right? Not like the Mayavadis, right? Here all are meditating, all the Shiva Lord is meditating on the Vishnu, the Brahma is meditating on the Vishnu, everyone is meditating on the Vishnu, right? And Vishnu is here saying that meditate upon me, right? So here is saying, so everyone is meditating upon him, and he is also saying meditate upon me, Ma Manushmara Yuddha Cha, right? Ma Manushmara. 8 प्रयाणकाले मनाश्यलेन भक्त्या युक्ता योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमविश्य स्वं यक् सतं परं पुरुषम् उपैति दिव्यम्. हरे कृष्ण. Translation anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by strength of the yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering of the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here a detailed explanation, how to engage your mind in meditation. Some part, Krishna tells Arjuna that okay, he is just detailing about the intricacies of meditation, right? That how to do that, right? So Prayan Kali, at the time of death, fixes his life. But just for a yogi, he's asking that one can do that, right? Fixes his life here, between the eyebrows, and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, right? Engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord, without deviation, undeviating mind, right? In full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? This is the part of where the yogi basically tries, when the dhyan yogi part, when one tries to attain to him, right? This is the process by which one can ultimately come to the bhakti yoga. But at this point of time, what we have been recommended, what we are recommended, that always nam sankirtanam. It is not for the it is not for the Kali Yuga, but it is time. It is time for the one who is at the time of death, who was trying to do this with the with the duty or with the process of a yogi, or with the process of a yoga. So like this, the yoga balena, yukta yoga balena. Here it is mentioned. Yoga balena means practice, right? The main point from 8.10 one should know, the devotee should look after is yoga balena. The practice is important here. The practice, the importance of the yoga balena. Yoga balena means practicing. So we need to practice our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra very sincerely, very attentively, right? Very attentively, with full devotion, with undeviating mind, right? Again and again, right? Again, abhyasin, right? Viragyam, abhyasin, viragya, abhyasin, viragyam, and with attention, if we progress in our chanting, if we try to get our chanting sincerely, attentively, then nothing is like it, right? That only pleases the Lord, right? So persons who are 8.11 persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman, desiring such perfection. One practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one attains, right? So there are three absolute truths, right? The Brahman, the Paramatma, the Bhagavan. Right? There are three absolute truths. The Brahman is also absolute truth. The Paramatma is absolute truth. Bhagavan is also absolute truth. So from the Vedas, one is basically uttering the Omkara. Omkara and Hare Krishna. Right? Krishna and Hare. It is equivalent. Hare Krishna and Omkara has no difference. The Om syllable and is equivalent to Hare Krishna. And Hare is the energy of the Lord, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Right? So it has no difference. So what are omkara? So he is explaining about he is explaining about the powerful mantra omkara, right? It is equivalent to Lord, right? Who are great cities in renowned order of the who are basically sannyasis, right? Enter into Brahman, right? And they practice perfection and practice celibacy. When Lord Buddha was there, he was used to practice, very, very uh, huge austerity was there. He used to take only 1 grain of rice every day. That was his practice, before. So this is the practice when sannyasis does, right? Even the Lord has shown that how to do the Gyan Yoga there through the Gyan Yoga one attains. So various this is the practice of celibacy and perfection one needs to attain. So he explains the process then. So 8.12, the yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagement, right? The pratyahara stage is that, right? In the pratyahara, the yam niyam asana pranam, the pratyahara stage one enters, one is detached from all the sensual engagements. All the sensory activities are stopped at the pratyahara stage in order to enter to the dhyan dharana stage, right? So closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind of the on the heart and the life here at the top of the head, one establishes himself in the yoga. The basically the yoga what he is trying to all this six chakras are there. He is trying to activate those chakras. From there, the life here basically wants to leave it from his head in order to go to the supreme, right? So this is a yogi tries this. So closing all the doors, sensory activities, he stops and fixing his mind on the heart and life here at the top of the head, one establishes himself in you. This is what Bharat Maharaj was trying, right? But it is not feasible in this age of Kali Yuga, because no sadhu sangha, then no nothing will stop you from doing sensual activities. No one will stop, because if with Bharat Maharaj, if some devotee was there, then he could have stopped, right? He could have stopped. He would have still was told he could have told him that, okay, stop this, Maharaj, we have come here for self reflection, let's stop this. So this is the benefit of having a sadhu sangha. So after being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the supreme personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So if one wants to go to spiritual planets, this is the process, right? Omkara. So what we will do, what we need to do, always chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. That's why devotees will be more merciful when and at the time of death coming to your house and chant doing kirtana at the time of death, so that you can remember. But your family members won't come, right? They won't that much help you, but the devotees, if they are also devotees, then they will help you at the time of death to remember, because the devotee knows that you don't belong here, you don't come back to this miserable place. If you are coming, then only for the devotion service, right? If not, then at least go to the spiritual planets, go serve there, right? Devotees are merciful, they want you to go from here to the spiritual planets, and they help you, right? So this is the power of the devotees. They know this, all this chapter 8, and they know that what is the process, right? So you could have also seen that many old age people also chant Hare Krishna, and in your elders, you could have seen that, oh, they were always chanting something, and they are basically trying to remember it. That's why some kirtan is needed at the time of death, so it is easy to remember the Lord. We go to the spiritual planets, right? So 8.10 to 13, practice of yoga mishra bhakti. We've seen that how yoga is also there, mishra bhakti is also here there. So yoga mishra bhakti is all these practices assist yogis in remembering Krishna, they not end in themselves, right? So one is basically in the Sat Chakra yoga, raises life here to the Agna Chakra, Agya, Agya Chakra. Agya Chakra is at the head, and then he chants the Om. Then he renounces sense gratification, especially celibacy, and he fixes his mind on the heart, and then fix mind in devotion to Supreme Lord. At the dead, he basically attains. So this is Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti is also there because he knows the Lord and he is practicing yoga also, right? From the yoga, from the Dhyan Yogi part, he is basically attaining the Supreme through this process. This is known as Yoga Mishra Bhakti. It's not recommended in the Kali Yuga, right? So impersonal Brahman, whatever, thinking of Krishna while quitting the body, the Om, similar to the Om is also same to Hare Krishna, right? The same one is Om chanting Om, one is going to the impersonal Brahman, right? But where they do they end? They end at the impersonal Brahman, right? They don't end at the Krishna. Devotees end where? Devotees end at the Krishna. Destination for devotees is innumerable Vaikuntha planets. Right? A lot of Vaikuntha planets, innumerable, infinite are there. We can go, one can go to anywhere. Okay. Vishnu. Okay, so we will end here. Section 4, we will talk about the pure devotional service from tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Any questions for today? Hare Krishna. Okay. Please do the quizzes also in the online portal, and from through the site, and so that you progress to the level 3, where the nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, and Ishopanishad, 3 books will be taught in level 3 also. So much more advanced, and the practicality of the bhakti will be there in those books. We are the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, so Rupanugas we have been we are called, and he gives very practical examples, how to do actually, to do bhakti in your day-to-day life. So that is what the nectar of devotion, nectar of instructions, Ishopanishad is. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time.